All right, good morning, Bismarck, Mandy, and Dave Flohr here on the Dakota Housing Network with
Greg Larson and our distinguished guest.
We have a distinguished guest that we will get to in just a second.
That's correct.
Or a minute.
But first we should say hi to Jim Walsh.
Jim.
Hello.
Who pushes
Hi, Jim.
all our buttons.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good day.
He does.
Well,
And Jim, we have a guest.
Yes.
And are you going to play the walk-in music? The
maybe
intro
a little
music?
later.
A
Maybe
little
a little
later?
later, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. We do have a guest on the show today, folks. Jenny Buhr from Kipp Harris Realty in Fargo, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening out in Fargo. Jenny, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me, Dave.
All right, you bet. Anytime. We've had you and your partner out there in crime, Joan Windus, were on once before, a couple months ago, I think, or 3 months ago.
Yep. Back when there was snow.
There was snow on the ground, yes, Greg says.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
Welcome
take your
back.
word for it. Okay, so anyway, we're going to we'll talk with Jenny in a second here and find out what's going on in Fargo. But first, Jenny, we got to talk about interest rates because, you know, that's kind of what we do here sometimes to start the show off anyway.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. Okay. 10-year Treasury rose 5 basis points this week, according to the Freddie Mac survey, which ended today, which actually was taken on Monday, so it's a little bit outdated. But the 30-year mortgage rate dropped 4 basis points.
There you
To
go.
3.92. So that's a little bit different than normal there. Usually one goes up, the other one goes up with it. But I will tell you that since then, the rates have probably gone up a little bit since Monday. The last couple days, they went up, and then yesterday they went down a little bit, kind of held steady. But I'd say the average mortgage rate now is probably a little bit closer to 4 out there than it is the 3.92 according to the survey, but rates are still very good. Yesterday, the Fed put out their minutes for their meeting, and nothing really changed because they didn't do anything unexpected. So that was a good thing. From a perspective of a loan originator, they'd say looking for it from the Mortgage News Daily here. They're suggesting borrowers waiting to lock should do so, you know, like tomorrow morning pricing was released by lenders this morning. Probably a good day to lock because there really hasn't been a change. And rates they were just inching up a little bit before I left the office today. So you might see a change in pricing later today possible unless something changes. So I would just go ahead and lock as we've been recommending you do for a long time because rates just haven't changed that much. Now, Jenny, I'm going to ask you to weigh in on this next thing.
Sure.
And we'll see what the consensus is here. This is from our friend Elliot Eisenberg, the Bowtie economist who does the graphsandlaughs.net 70-word blog he does every day, every business day. And Elliot's been on our show before, and he's a interesting gentleman. He's an economist, but he's a fun economist, very much so. But here was his Friday file from last week, and he always on his Fridays he does fun stuff.
Right.
So here it is. Now, Jenny, we need you to weigh in on this because this is about dating, and I know you're married, but you did date at one point, obviously. So
Oh, gosh, it's been a while. It's been a
so
while, but okay, I'll wait.
But we'll see what you would have thought of this. Okay, 43% of women say knowing a person's credit score would have an impact on their willingness to date someone. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're in that camp. All right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, what is interesting, I think, is only 32% of men said the same. Men have a different idea about dating, apparently. Slightly, yeah. We're interested in different things.
I actually see that because I feel like
Wanna know what kind of
between
car
my
she
husband
drives
and
and
I,
she'll let him
I'm probably the more financially savvy one. And I can't speak for all women, of course, but I don't know, men. Do the women kind of wear the pants in the family? I don't know. I guess I'm kind of that way.
Okay, all right. So it depends upon your perspective. Yeah, so, okay.
But yes, the credit score would definitely be an indicator.
It would be important.
I wouldn't marry someone with a low credit score.
It would be important to you. Okay.
Yes.
Now, by education, 47% of college graduates say knowing the FICO score of a possible date matters, compared to 29% for those with a high school diploma or less. So if you're a college graduate, you're more likely to consider that when you're dating somebody, which is interesting. And 46% of Americans have checked their credit score within the past year. So I've checked my credit score in the past year. Greg?
I have.
Okay.
Yep.
Jenny?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go. We got Jim. Have you checked your credit score in the last year?
Not in the last year, no.
Okay. All right. So we're
I
3 out of
intend to.
4. You intend to. So we could almost say we got 100% then.
Yeah.
That's
in
right.
this room versus only 46% in the whole country. So we're doing good here on the Dakota Housing Network. Okay. All right. So now, Jenny, I've got something else here that we'll get into, and I think this, goes to the Fargo market. And it was an article I found on Housing Wire, and it talked about what home buyers are really searching for. And guess what? Google is giving us the answer.
All right.
Okay, Jenny, did you see this?
I guess maybe I haven't.
Okay, well, just go to Google and you'll find out, I guess.
Oh,
But
probably.
anyway, here's what they did. Chase, J.P. Morgan Chase, one of the evil big banks. We can say that because they're not here in North Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can say that they're one of the evil big banks. The report from Chase Home Lending, and they partnered up with Google on this. They took a behind-the-scenes look at what home buyers are Googling, and the results provide a window into what buyers really think. The report is based on actual Google. I have a hard time with that one. Search data for the past several years. So this is not just like in the last 6 months or something. Now, according to the report, one of home buyers' top concerns is affordability. Example: how much house will they be able to afford? Okay, that's pretty normal, I would think. You, Jenny, you run into that with your clients. That's what they're thinking about.
Oh gosh, yeah, and especially in the class too. That's one of their biggest concerns: is am I going to buy too much house that I can't afford?
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. No, the report showed that in 2016, consumers made 34% more searches around affordability than the year before. So more people are thinking about this. And all the top 3 mortgage-related questions asked on Google searches are all related to affordability. How much mortgage can I afford? How much mortgage can I qualify for? And what mortgage can I afford? So it's basically asking the same questions. Just in a different manner, I guess. So that's whether that's really the top 3 concerns or not, I don't know. It also showed that millennials and first-time home buyers are increasing their mortgage-related searches, et cetera. So we will talk a little bit more about this when we get back with Greg and Jenny. And Jim, you are going out on what here? What are we doing for music today? Oh, Jenny, this is your walk-in music, your intro music. I'm sure did you ever get tired of hearing this song, or have you ever heard it?
Jenny, who can I turn to?
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
Hey!
All right, we're coming back on the Dakota Housing Network. Dave Flohr, Greg Larson, Jim Walsh on the board, and our special guest, Jenny Buhr from Kipp Harris Realtors in Fargo. Jenny, this is your song. You know that.
I didn't get to hear it.
You didn't get to hear it.
No, I couldn't hear it.
You can't hear it. Oh, okay. Well, we're playing Jenny 5
867-5309.
Yeah. Do you know that song?
Oh, God. Nope, never heard that one before.
You've never heard it.
Whoa.
Oh gosh, never. That's sarcasm. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, I see that's when you're on the phone. We can't see the look on your face. I mean, that was like you did that very well because I detected no sarcasm. Yeah. And I was shocked that you had never heard that song before. So, okay. All right. So anyway, Jenny's from Fargo, Kipp Harris Realtors in Fargo, and we wanted to have her on today to talk a little bit about the Fargo market. And we were just going over this Google report on what home buyers are actually searching for that they did with Chase Home Lending. What else did the report reveal here? Report showed that so far in 2017, 44% of Google searches in the mortgage category are for first-time homebuyer mortgages, which is up 11% from last year. search activity for first-time homebuyer mortgages is at an all-time high. It also shows. And Chase says that's being seen in its mortgage originations as customers under age 35 made up 36% of Chase's new mortgages in 2016, which is up 16% from 2015. So that's a big increase. No, it also shows more people are turning to their phones to help in their search for a mortgage. Mobile searches for mortgage and home equity lines of credit increased between 30 to 50% every year from 2013 through 2016. Most of the people using their phone or searching for information, mortgage information online, was highest in the South, which is interesting, and 18% in the Midwest, which I think we're still included in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So we just don't look for stuff online. We come to people like Greg and Jenny.
That's right.
For our information and our lenders. We don't go on that Google thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on the www thing.
Yeah. And
more and more lenders, it seems, are getting apps now. So
are getting apps, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really interesting that people are turning to their phones. And the apps are really nice because then you can just hand them off and see if you qualify for a certain home, which I love. I actually have a couple lender apps on my phone, so I can help them use my clients, use them for my clients. So you should look into that. Do you have an app, Dave?
I don't have an app, no.
Well, you should look into that.
Well, for our programs, we actually looked at what it costs to create an app. And it's expensive as can be. And since we don't directly originate loans.
And you don't make the big money.
And we don't make the big money, yeah. I'm sure somebody will be calling in about that. But it just, feasibility, it just wasn't there for us to do something like that. So we're the only thing we're doing is trying to change our website around so it's more mobile friendly, I guess, to put it that way, versus an app. Because there's a difference there between the two, apparently. The apps are expensive to design, and then you keep them running and stuff too. So, Greg, have you any lenders around Bismarck, Mandan here?
Yeah, there are a few.
Okay.
That have apps. I advise my clients. I have a couple of them on my phone too, but I advise them. This is just a starting point. Don't just sit on the app.
Yeah.
You actually need to get to a loan officer and get the thing finished.
Okay. Well, it is a good tool. It's another tool. Yeah. So, okay, Jenny. All right, Fargo. What's going on in Fargo these days? Market good, bad, indifferent, seller, buyer market? What is it?
Oh, well, it's still definitely a seller's market, but I dare say that it might be slowing down a little bit. Knock on wood. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Okay.
Both in Fargo and West Fargo, I think it's maybe slowing down because that absorption rate actually jumped over 3. So happy. That makes me happy. From June last year, it was 2.77. Now it's actually at 3.24 in Fargo. And in West Fargo, it's actually all the way up to, 4.43.
Okay, so explain as you call it, absorption rate.
Okay, so the absorption rate, the number of months that it would take to sell the current market that we have, right? So if it would take 4.43 months in West Fargo to sell all the market that's in West Fargo, all the houses that are pending or for sale in West Fargo, that's in between what would be a seller's market and a buyer's market. If that absorption rate goes to 6 or above, that's when it tends to flip to more of a buyer's market. In between 3 and 6, when you see that number between 3 and 6, that's kind of in between a buyer's and a seller's market. So we are in the process of maybe flipping this June. It's just been kind of a weird year. And actually the list prices in West Fargo have actually gone down this year in June from June this year and last year. So weird year, but still good. The market is still good, definitely, but just slowing down, which is good.
Okay. Greg, and what's the absorption rate or market here?
It really varies depending on price of house. I would say our average absorption rate is about 4.5.
Okay, so similar.
But that's 4.5 months. If you go to houses over 600,000, it's 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So Jenny, do you see the same thing in your area? Is the higher priced homes, is that a longer period then?
Oh, yeah. Yep, for
Okay.
sure. This is just the average overall.
Yeah. So actually, markets are very similar, probably between
Yep.
Fargo, Moorhead, and Bismarck, Mandan.
Yep. 4.43 is in West Fargo. Yeah, in Fargo, it's actually at 3 point, I lost it now, 3.54. So it's a little less. So it's a little bit hotter in Fargo than it is in West Fargo.
Yeah. No.
But still down, which is good.
Yeah. Now, Bismarck has a home ownership rate out here, Burley Morton County. It's pretty high, right, Greg?
yeah, yeah.
Is it at 70s?
Just about.
Just about 70. Now, Fargo, it's much lower.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the 50s, I believe, right, Jenny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's usually the difference there is it because of the colleges? You've got the schools out there. What do you think?
You asking me or Jenny?
Well, ask Jenny
Let's
first.
ask Jenny.
Yeah, let's ask
Jenny
Jenny.
lives there.
Jenny lives there, exactly.
It's really hard to say. I feel like, we're growing. Obviously, we've got that new Sanford building going up. So being that the Sanford building is soaking up a lot of jobs, people are moving here for jobs. Obviously, NDSU is here. We've got the tri-college thing, Concordia, MSUM. A lot of things going on, and we're growing at such a rapid rate around here, too, that it's super busy. We're just booming. So
Yeah, you go out south, by where the new Sanford Hospital is, there's a lot of apartment buildings out there.
mm-hmm.
And
They've been building apartment buildings like crazy.
Yeah. So do you see, is the apartment overbuilt in Fargo at all?
At this point, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
However, in the next couple of years, we're only continue to grow. We're only going to continue to grow, and our growth of Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, this whole area here, is only projecting to grow. So I feel like those apartment buildings are just going to get filled up in the next couple of years anyway. It's really interesting, too, because some of the old buildings here that we have are getting transformed into apartment buildings, too. Like the old Woodrow Wilson School, the high school, was transformed into apartment buildings and just had an open house not too long ago. So not only are they building new apartment buildings, but they're transforming some of the old buildings into apartment buildings. So lots of apartment buildings.
Yeah.
So yes, but I feel like they're going to be filled.
Yeah.
Moreover.
So there's a lot of opportunity for you as a realtor and the lenders to really focus on home buyers and get them out there, especially first-time home buyers, because, hey, there's a lot of people renting, and it's a question of affordability. I'm sure, like the Google search showed us, that's what's on most people's mind. Is there enough of an inventory out there to handle? I guess you said it's like probably less than 3 months for something below, $250,000. That market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Definitely. And that's kind of the problem that we're facing right now is especially, we're kind of focusing on first-time home buyers, which is kind of most of my clientele right now. But really, the first-time home buyers kind of get the crappy end of the stick here because we really don't have enough inventory for those first-time home buyers. The first-time home buyer ratio to the homes for sale is way skewed. There's way more first-time home buyers than there are homes for sale. So they kind of still have to compete for those first-time homes.
Okay.
So
all right. Okay.
It's
Well,
still kind of crazy.
yeah. Well, we'll have to go out on a break here. But is that crappy end of the stick? Is that an official real estate
It is.
term?
It's right there in the test.
Is it?
It is
It's on
when
the
we're talking
test.
on radio.
Define crappy end of the stick.
It's on the
Yeah,
test.
right.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Fortunately, it's a multiple choice question.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good. I did not know that. What I learned today from Jenny in Fargo. So anyway, we will be back. Jenny, you sticking around?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will.
All right. We'll come back with Jenny Buhr on the Dakota Housing Network.
Right now, 72.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on Super Talk 1270.
All right, we are back on Dakota Housing Network. Time is Tight by Booker T and the MGs.
Time is tight.
Time is tight. We've only got a few minutes left in the show.
Oh,
Yeah. So anyway, Dave Flohr, along with Greg Larson and Jim Walsh on the board, and our special guest from Fargo, Miss Jenny Buhr from Kipp Harris Real Estate, Kipp Harris Realtors, I guess. Is that right, Jenny?
Yeah.
I got the name right?
Yep, Kipp Harris Realtors. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dave.
Realtors. Okay, I got to get the name right. I was just there. I was
Yes,
out
you
there
were.
last
Thank
week.
you for coming.
I should know better than that, but I confuse myself some days, Greg.
well, that's not a difficult challenge for either of us.
Thank
We
you.
are- We
Okay.
are still the two dumb guys
Well,
asking
you
a
know,
smart
well,
person
yeah, that's
questions.
right. You know what this is another episode. Jenny, you don't know this, but Joe Sheehan is also one of our co-hosts. Joe and I used to do this show, just the two of us, and we used to always do, when we'd have a guest, we'd always say, well, here's another episode of two dumb guys asking a smart person questions. And Greg has consented to be part of that, and he is one of the dumb guys now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Fully
vetted.
So this is another episode of two dumb guys asking a smart person questions, and that's you. So we've been talking about Fargo, the Fargo market, because that's where you're at because you live there. She does.
Yes.
Perfectly good sense. to me.
We finally figured that out. After she, told us she lived in Fargo.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Ta-da,
Okay.
yeah.
So anyway, we've been talking about the market in Fargo. A lot of first-time home buyers. So a lot of younger folks, right, Jenny?
Absolutely, yes.
Like yourself. Now, I've got a thing here on how are millennials transforming the banking industry?
Oh, gosh.
And okay, so 88% of millennials, in whatever age group that is, it's like up to 30. Is it up to like age 35 or something like that?
I believe so.
Do you know, Jenny?
I don't, because I feel like there's people differentiate differently. There's millennials, and then there's Generation X, and then there's. So I don't exactly know. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, 88% of millennials do their banking online. 50% bank with their smartphone. And what else do they want here? 1 in 3 are open to switching banks in the next 90 days. So banks, look out. People are not loyal necessarily anymore.
Yep.
No, these are bad statistics for the banking industry, I think. 53% don't think their financial institution offers anything different than the others. 71% would rather go to the dentist than listen to what their financial institutions are saying.
Ooh.
Oh boy, that's jab right in the throat there. Yeah. Okay. 57% want their financial institution to recommend products or services that they might need. Let's see, this one, 39% would consider switching to a financial institution with no branches. So basically, online bank would be fine with them. 57% would like their financial institution to help them purchasing a home. Well, okay, I think most do that. So, and let's see. Okay, now the other ones. Here's some more information. 68% believe in 5 years the way we access our money will be totally different. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that's absolutely true. 70%, as far as payments go, 70% believe in 5 years the way we pay for things will be totally different. I agree with that too. I think there'll be very few people opening checking accounts. You'd be paying online. You'd be paying with your phone, an app, right, Jenny? I mean, how much do you see, Jenny, when you're with your clients? Do you see them really doing everything on their phone with apps, et cetera?
Oh, I do agree with that statistic. About 80%, 85%.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely, it's mostly smartphones.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I did have a client come in the other day that was my age, that still had a flip phone.
Ah.
I was like, that should be in a museum, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, even Greg and I have smartphones because we need them.
That's right. So I did something the other day that I have not done before.
Okay.
I was extremely uncomfortable with it.
Okay. And that was?
I got a commission check.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it and
Oh.
deposited it on my phone through the photo.
Yep.
I had to check like 3 times to make sure the bank had that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I
actually was a real deposit. It made me very nervous.
Yeah, I've done that quite a bit. Jenny, have you done that?
I haven't yet. You guys are ahead of me.
Oh, 2 old guys ahead of the young person here. How about that? All right. No, I've done that quite a bit. We don't get too many checks to deposit anymore, but you
it's
do.
kind of, we get commission checks, and there is, Jenny, you'll agree with me on this. There is something kind of nice about when we've done all of our work and everything's done, and we finally get that commission check. There's something kind of just nice about taking the time to drive it to a bank and put it in there.
A little satisfaction.
Oh, it is.
It is.
It's like kind of the cherry on the cake, or
That's
the
right.
icing on the cake.
That's right.
Yeah, it is.
So
You got to take that.
Of course, we want to
extra
find
time.
the branch closest to our office, but there is something rewarding about.
So do you guys go in there and do a happy dance
I
for
have.
the tellers
I
then? Yeah. Jenny, do you do that?
Not in front of the tellers.
No, you should. You should go in with your commission check and just do a happy dance in front of the tellers.
Yeah. The dancer
It'd make their day. I would think that would make their day. Yeah. Especially if Greg did it. They'd be talking about that forever.
They called people.
They call people.
Phones came out.
All right.
It'd
Okay. Now
probably
this.
go viral on YouTube or something.
Yeah,
You
there
guys
you go.
probably get paid for that too.
Yeah.
There
Now
you go.
the other thing financial institutions should be worried about here is 73% of millennials would be more excited about a new offering in financial services from Google, Amazon, Apple, PayPal, or Square than from their own financial institution. Yikes.
That's spooky.
That's if I'm a banker, I'm a little worried about that one.
Yep.
Yep. So anyway, so this leads me to my next thing here about Jenny. Did you hear anything about this company in Wisconsin that's microchipping their employees?
No.
Okay, this is a tech company and they're testing this out, but they have an implant that's about the size of a grain of rice, and they insert it between the thumb and forefinger with a syringe. But what they're going to use it for at their own office is to open doors. People can log on to their computers, and they can purchase break room snacks by just swiping their hand. They've set up their vending machines to accept this. Now, this is where to some extent, we're going to something like this, I think. And, people are going to have information on all their financial stuff. It'll be just there. And, you'll be able to, as realtors, I think you'll be able to do a lot with the information that's out there that people just have right there with them versus, I got to go get that or something. I don't know. It's interesting where this could go.
It is kind of spooky in a way.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It is interesting, yeah.
yeah. So anyway, yeah.
I
If you want to look it up, it's 3 Square Market, also known as 32M, is the company. So you can go out and do a Google search on it. Okay. So Jenny, what else is going on in Fargo related to millennials, first-time homebuyers? Anything else you want to expound upon?
Oh, gosh. Well, now you kind of put me on the spot. No, I mean, it's pretty much typical, except that it's slowed down a little bit, which is good for the first-time homebuyer market, thankfully, because last year everybody was, and for the past 5 or 6 years, everybody's kind of been fighting like cats and dogs over houses. So to have that slow down and have people actually get the opportunity to look through a house and like it and think about it before having to make that minute decision would be fantastic. So other than that, just a little bit of a slowdown. There's nothing too exciting going on. We are going to have our next first-time homebuyer class coming up in August 16th through 17th, so that's exciting.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Now, you Kipp Harris Realtors, you do put on a homebuyer education class on a monthly basis. You just had one here in July, and like you said, next one will be coming up in August. What are in that class, the people that come to it, what are their concerns? What are they taking away from the class? What do they think is the best things they've learned?
Absolutely. Well, like you were saying in the survey or the article that you were talking about, affordability, that's one of their hugest concerns is, can I afford a house? Am I going to bite off more than I can chew? And actually one of those sections that we talk about foreclosure, actually brings people a lot more peace of mind than anything, because they go through it and they're like, oh, okay, so if we can't make a payment, we're not just going to get kicked out of our house. We're not just going to get evicted. You know, that's not the most common reason that people get kicked out of their houses. They can't afford it. You know, there are fail-safes to prevent that from happening. So that's one of the biggest takeaways that people get from the class is, okay, I can actually afford a house. This is maybe what I can afford. This is what happens if I can't afford it. You know, there are some options available to me. So,
okay, well, that's interesting. People, basically, they thought, well, if I'm not making the payment, they're going to throw me out and I'm going to lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
But there is, in North Dakota, there is a judicial process that has to be gone through, and it gives you, and there's opportunity there to work out with your lender. So that's interesting that that was a big concern or misconception. So, Jenny, we do have to go to our last break here, but you're going to hang around, right?
oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back and we have 8 dumb reasons people can't buy a house. So maybe we'll ask you and Greg about those.
Yeah, I'm number 6.
Greg is number 6. Okay. Well, we'll discuss that further when we come back on the Dakota Housing Network.
Right now, 77.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. supertalk1270.com.
All right. We are tough enough here on the Dakota Housing Network. Fabulous Thunderbirds, along with Dave Flohr, Greg Larson, Jim Walsh, and the fabulous
And tough enough.
Jenny Buhr from Kipp Harris Realtors in Fargo. Hi, Jenny.
Oh, hi. You guys are too much.
Okay. All right. So, now let's have some practical information for our listeners today. Okay. So I've got 8 dumb reasons people can't buy a home, and we'll just talk about these, and we might not get to all 8.
Okay.
But we'll let you guys expound on them. That's my word for the day, is expound.
Okay.
It's a big word for me.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Now, this is, again, another episode of Two Dumb Guys. That would be Greg and I.
Yep.
Asking a smart person questions. That would be Jenny.
Right.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, dumb reason number 1. This is right up our alley, Greg.
All right. I like this already. I'm excited.
Dumb reason number 1. Waiting to line up financing. Okay, do you ever run into that? Jenny, do you ever run into that with any of your clients?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Okay, what problems does it cause?
Well, I mean, in some aspects, it's a good idea, but your financing is never going to be 100% lined up, right?
Yeah, true.
I mean, there's always going to be another issue that comes up, and I mean, there's certain things you can improve on, like your credit score, right? You can always improve your credit score, and you can always pay down some debt, and I get those reasons, but getting all of your finances in order to actually start purchasing a home isn't always necessarily the best idea, because then the home prices tend to go up and up and up, especially in the Fargo-Moorhead area. And then, you kind of maybe have missed a golden opportunity. Mm-hmm. So that's my 2 cents on it. What do you guys think?
I agree with that. Let's just get started. Mm-hmm. What's the worst you can hear? Not just yet.
Yeah.
But then not just yet.
Right, yeah.
But most folks, as Jenny have said, are just pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, okay. So go in and talk to your lender. To a lender. Okay, now, dumb reason number 2, using a fly-by-night mortgage lender. Now, unfortunately, there's scams out there. You've got unreliable lenders or, online lenders. You don't know who you're working with. So what do you guys suggest to overcome that? Fly-by-night lender, whatever your definition of that might be, how do you overcome that? What's the best thing to do? Jenny, go ahead.
Okay, well, go with somebody that you are referred to, or somebody that you know, is my biggest suggestion. Like if you're already working with a realtor, they usually have a lot of suggestions, and they've been working with these people a lot. But I always discourage people from using those online lenders, because you don't get that face-to-face contact. You can't meet with them. They tend to take a lot longer to respond to you, and it also tends to not look as good on an offer when you're making an offer on a home because of those reasons. So, no, go with someone that you're referred to. They know who they're talking about.
Okay. Have you ever have you run into a problem where the deal just fell apart because somebody was using, TimbuktuLender.com?
I personally haven't, but I have heard stories.
Yeah, I have.
You've run into it, Greg.
Yeah, I've had it where, everything's cheaper, everything's better, everything's faster, and then it's not, and then it's not, and then it's not, and then the thing just folds. I've had it happen.
What caused that to happen? What everything was faster, but then it wasn't. Well, what was the problem?
They really didn't have their ducks in a row.
Yeah.
They didn't. They didn't keep their promises. They didn't get the paperwork when it was necessary on time. And in this case, basically, the seller just said, "That's it. Go away."
Go away. Yeah. So when you're taking that offer to a seller, and they see, okay, financing through TimbuktuLender.com,
Bob's Easy Mortgages.
They might go, and then they're looking at another one that's from the the bank that they know in town. They're going to pick the bank they know in town.
I would think so. Yeah.
Between those two offers, if that makes a difference to them. Okay, now dumb reason number 3. Okay, Greg, you ready?
I'm set.
This is up for us. Jenny, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, getting pre-qualified rather than pre-approved.
There you go.
Okay, so Greg, what's the difference?
Well, you tell me who the banker is, and I'll tell you what the difference is.
There we go.
Basically, pre-approved means that they just take a quick blink at your credit.
Yep.
Say, yeah, we could approve you.
Yep.
Pre-qualified, they've actually taken the time to take a look at your finances, take a look at your bills, take a look at your income, your debt-to-income ratios, those kinds of things, and say, okay, based on what we know today, you're pre-qualified.
Yep.
You're qualified to buy this house. They'll never know until right at the end when they do the final credit checks and stuff,
Right.
but they've done enough preliminary work to say, yes,
You can afford a $300,000
you can
mortgage.
do this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that helps you focus on what you need, what you can show that person realistically.
But actually, as a realtor, and Jenny, you know this, you kind of want to talk to the banker first and say, okay, what are you giving me here? Because they have different definitions of pre-approved and pre-qualified.
Yeah, and so you need to ask your client, but you too, you want to know, okay, what's the lender giving us here, and how valid is it? Yeah, okay. All right, dumb reason number 4. Well, okay, this kind of goes along with that. Shopping outside your price range. I'm sure you run into that a lot. People want a little more than what they can afford, right, Jenny?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Champagne dreams on a beer budget.
There we go. Who was that guy?
I like that one.
Jim, who was the guy, the millionaire dude? Robin something, right?
Robin Leach.
Robin Leach.
Champagne wishes.
On beer dream
On a beer budget.
There we
Caviar
go.
and dreams.
Caviar and dreams. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
So that really was a dumb guy asking a dumb question on that one.
Yeah.
People shopping outside your price ranges. So for the people, the listeners out there, listen to your lender and listen to your real estate agent about, no, this is your price range. This is what, let's not look at the one that's, $100,000 over your price range.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and don't even start looking until you get pre-approved, or pre-qual, but preferably pre-approved. Don't even start looking.
All right. Okay.
Don't believe everything you see on House Hunters.
That too.
What? Greg, burst my bubble, man.
Oh, man.
Okay, dumb reason number 5. And then Jenny, Jenny, you're talking about this. You're in a seller's market in Fargo. Dumb reason number 5 is making lowball offers in a seller's market. So you're running into that where somebody's just saying, oh, well, they got to list it that, but I want to offer them $20,000 less than what they got to list it at. You run into that?
Well, yeah, talking about the HGTV shows, a lot of people are always looking for a deal. They're looking for a deal, and that's just not how it works. Unfortunately, you got to pay what the house is worth. Usually, that's how the market works. So,
I mean, as realtors, you know what the market is and what the prices are, and it's going to sell pretty darn close to what it's been listed at in most cases, right? I mean, in homes.
Usually. Absolutely. Usually, I mean, if we can get you a deal, we'll absolutely get you a deal. But yeah, especially in a seller's market, oftentimes you're going to pay what the house is worth. You're not going to get a great deal on a home. I mean, not saying that you're not going to pay overvalue, because appraisers, this is going in too deep, but appraisers will, compensate for that. But yeah, you're generally not going to pay $20,000 and lowball an offer. You're not going to get the house.
Yeah.
Do you want the house, or do you want a good deal?
And you might make a seller mad at you, where they won't even counter back to you.
That's happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't burn your bridges.
Don't burn the bridges. That's right. Okay. Dumb reason number 6: writing a bad personal letter to the seller. Do you guys utilize that at all, Jenny?
I don't.
Letters to the seller from the buyer?
Yes, I do. I actually have a letter template.
Oh, okay.
So template is, this is what you should put in there and what you shouldn't put in there, so that people know what to write if they're going to write a letter.
Okay. Do you have a lot of people that want to do that?
Some, because it's a seller's market. I have about 50-50, actually.
Okay.
I try always to present the offer to the seller and represent my client.
You're there in person. Yeah.
In person.
Yeah.
I have done letters. I've seen it really blow up in someone's face, too. Like, I presented the letter, and the seller said, I know her parents. She's not buying this house. Boom.
Oops.
Done.
Well, that's what you got to be a little careful. We're still Fargo, Bismarck. It's still kind of a small town to some extent. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now this one I know for sure. This is really a dumb question, but it's good knowledge. Making a big purchase, it says here, while in escrow, but while you're in the middle of an offer and a deal, don't make a big purchase.
Don't do that.
Jenny, have you ever had anybody go out and buy a car after they made an offer and then before they got approved?
I have, and they managed to work it out, but the lender was not happy, and I was not happy.
Yeah. So really, that is a big one. Once you make that offer and you are in there till that loan closes, do not do anything. So anyway, all right, we've got to go. Jenny, we want to thank you very much. Jenny Buhr from Kipp Harris Realtors in Fargo. Homebuyer education class out in Fargo in August. When, Jenny?
16 through 17.
All right, look it up, Kipp Harris Realtors, if you want to go out there and go to a homebuyer ed class. Thank you very much for being on, Jenny.
Thank you for
talk to you
It's
again.
always a pleasure.
All right. Okay. Greg, thanks as always.
Oh, yes.
All right, Jim, thank you as always.
Likewise.
And we will see you next time on Dakota Housing Network.